So now we have a sequel of the previous problem. We have the teacher snail's row sheets. And this is the teacher snail's row sheets, which is a sequel. All right? And what is the difference between these two problems? On the first problem, on the second problem, the sequel, the names in the inputs are not capitalized. You have to capitalize each name and print them out each in one line. All right? Is there any question? All right, so that's the difference. And what are we going to do to solve this new problem? This is the answer to the old one. Okay, this is the answer to the old one. And what's the answer to the new one then? Okay, so let me paste it on. Let me paste the answer on this one. But this is the answer for the old one. So what do we do? What do we do to capitalize each name in the S? How do you do that? Luckily, we do have a function to do that, which is capitalize. Let me show you that. Now, if I have an S as a snail, which is not capitalized, if you do str dots and wait for that, the first available function is capitalized. What does it do? To capitalize a word. Do you see that? So this is exactly what we need, right? So let me copy that. And let's do that. We will have a T is equal to map. We want to map this function to each item of S. And then we would like to print the outcome of the map. All right? And this is the answer to it. This is the answer to this problem right there. Okay? So if you, well, I actually put it all in one line. That's okay too. Okay, this is the answer to that problem. Any question? All right, so do you have a better idea about what map function does at all? It would actually apply the function that you specify on each item of S. All right? Any question? No question? Okay, let's do the next one then. Okay, this one is hard. This one I will give you the answer. And if this one is hard, I told you this one is hard. Okay? And I will give you this answer, the answer to this problem in our presentation, in our PowerPoint file. All right? And if you want to, you can just type it in and then get 100 out of it. But if you want to understand it, if you want to have a better understanding of this answer, then you can come to me during the recess, all right? Or after class. I'm not going to spend time on this one because this is actually too hard for you. However, this is a problem using map, all right? Also utilizing map to apply a function to some sequence, and that will be it. All right. Okay, this is too hard. So we'll skip that one. We'll skip that one and then come back to this computer room problem, computer lab problem, all right? We had a wrong answer for this one. How did we do that? The first time when we saw this problem, this is what we did. This is what we did last time. I don't know if you remember that. I don't know if you remember that. This is what we did for this problem. And if you want to run it, that's fine. Let's try to run this. Run module. And save it to our folder. Right there. Oh, actually we did have one. That's all right. Let's override it. And we would like to copy this one and paste it here. See, we have a 43 right there. Are you happy about that? No. You shouldn't be happy about this, because what if teacher Snail doesn't teach 5 classes? He teach only 1 instead. You'll get this error message. Do you remember that? Because he only teach 1 class. There's only S0. There's no S1 at all. This is S0. This is S1, S2, S3, and S4, right? Okay, but for the second one, we only have S0 without S1. So you cannot do this. You cannot convert S1 into an integer. That's where the error message comes from. Do you know what I'm talking about? Because we don't have S1 at all. So how do we solve this problem? How do we solve this problem? I believe you know so far. I thought you already know the answer so far. What do we do? We want to apply int to each element of S. If S has 5 elements, if S has 5 items, we want to apply int to each of the items, to S0, S1, S2. If there are 5 of them, we want to apply to each of them. If there are 10 of them, we want to apply 10 times. If there's only 1 time, we apply this int for only 1 time. How do we do that? Exactly, T equals map and then int without parentheses. All right, without parentheses. Then S, this is what we do. when we have this, you don't need that at all. And that's the answer to this problem. Do you know what I'm talking about? Let's try to run it. This time, that's 39. If we run it again, using the first test set, you got 43. So this is the answer. This is the answer to this problem. Any question? Those who are with me, those who understand this program, please raise your hand. Those who don't, please raise your hand. All right. Those who have a question, please raise the question right now. I will try to answer your question. What does map means? All right. That's why I type map int s. That means map will apply int function to each item of s, like this. It will apply int to s0 and also apply int to s1. If s has 5 items, it will apply int to each of the items. But what if s has only 1? It will do this. If s has only 1 item, it will do it only once. If s has 5 items, it will do it 5 times, apply this int 5 times, each time on 1 item of s. Do you know what I'm talking about? But without map, you cannot do this n times. You can do it for 5 times, you can do it for 1 time, but you cannot do it for n times. Do you know what I'm talking about? But with the map, it will apply this int to s, every item of s. And if s got 5 items, it will apply this int 5 times. If it's got only 1, it will apply this int to s, the item of s, 1 time, each time on 1 item. Do I answer your question? Okay. So we need to use map instead of a lot of the ints. Do you know what I'm talking about? Any question? But this is not really the answer. I forgot to change this. All right? Okay? Since we have this map object stored in T, we need to get the max of T instead of max of S. All right? Okay? So this is the answer to the problem. Any question? However, please look carefully. I store the list of string returned by splits in S, and then map int function on each item of S. Is this S used after this line? Is this S ever used after this line in the program at all? No, not at all. Which means what? We can actually copy this and replace S. And replace this S then we can delete this function. Do you see that? Okay? Do you remember that I told you there are 3 ways of input? 3 ways of input. The first one is input, the second one is int input, the third one is input that splits. 3 ways. And this is the 4th way. The 4th way of input. All right? The 4th way of input. Do you understand? Any question? Let me give you a recap on these 4. Let me give you a recap on these 4 ways of input. All right? Oops, not that one. I'm sorry. Let me give you a recap on this one. All right. Oh, I'm sorry. Not this one. Not this one. Where are they? Here. This one. All right. So we already talked about the first one input, and the second one int input. If you want to, if the input need to be converted into an integer, you need to apply integer to the inputs. Do you remember this one? All right. Actually, it is the first line of our computer room problem program. All right. The first line right there. This is how we get the inputs into n. This is the second one. Do you understand? Okay, the second one. We taught this one. We taught this one during the summer. And if you don't remember, you need to review our YouTube list, YouTube playlist. All right? Any question? And then we also talked about the third one, input that splits. When do we need to use this one? If we have more than one item to be processed in one line, you need to split the line by spaces. Do you know what I'm talking about? Okay? And now this is the 4th one. After we split the line, into strings, into a list of strings. And then if we want to convert each item returned by the split function, then we need to use map to apply int function on each item of the list returned by splits. Do you know what I'm talking about? Do you know when to use it, which one? If you need to convert it into an integer, you need to apply int to the input. If you need to split it, if there are more than one item in one line, you need to split it. How about if there are more than one number in a line, you need to split it first, like this. You need to split the line first and then convert each string into an int. You need to use map. Yes? Sure. Yes. All right, any question? No question? Okay, so there are four ways of input, and the first input, these four inputs can be used to solve 95% of the need for input. 95%. You can just pick one out of these four. And the way to decide which one is that, do I need to convert it to an integer? Do I need to split it into a list? If you can answer these two problems, and then you will be able to decide which one to use. All right? Any question? All right. So let's have a break.